Hello friends, welcome back to our channel UiPath by Sujita. In this video, we are going to learn about conditional breakpoints, the very critical concept in debugging using UiPath Studio. We have learned about the debugging methods, debugging actions or buttons available in the debug ribbon in UiPath Studio, along with many debugging panels available, and also the breakpoints in other videos, right? Now let us concentrate on the conditional breakpoint. What are those conditional breakpoints and when to use and how to use, right? So before going in deep to this video, I request you to please do subscribe our channel, and for more videos please select the bell icon and select all options. And also, if you like these videos, please do share with your friends and colleagues. Also give a like symbol. Your valuable feedback and your suggestions are most welcome using our comments section. So let us dive in depth into this video. So what are conditional breakpoints? Conditional breakpoints, so by the name it says breakpoints, the simple breakpoints with some condition, right? So whenever we want, so before this, for keeping beginners in mind, I would like to cover what is debugging and what are breakpoints. First of all, debugging. We use debugging to find the bugs which are causing issues in our automated process. When we are developing an automation using UiPath Studio, we use debug option to debug the code, to debug the workflow, whatever we have designed, to fix, in order to fix the issue which we are not known where exactly the issue is, right? So we in such scenarios we will start debugging the code, executing each and every activity to fine tune it so that it is more reliable and it is more efficient. Okay, so this is the debugging. Now to make our debugging, to enhance our debugging experience using UiPath Studio, we have multiple options available in it. One among them is breakpoints. So when we are debugging the process, we want to pause the debugging. It's not like stopping. We want to pause the debugging at particular point. A particular point in the sense at one place in code, maybe at a single activity. In such scenarios, we are going to use breakpoints, right? We are breaking the debugging, right? So we are pausing the debugging, the executor. We are instructing the executor to give a pause at a particular activity by using these breakpoints. So that is called breakpoints. Now, there is a concept called conditional breakpoints. What are conditional breakpoints? Conditional breakpoints are nothing but a breakpoint, a simple breakpoint with a condition to it, right? Let me give you this. Conditional breakpoints are, please note down the key points at least on a high level along with me into a notepad or to your book, taking a pen, so that it will be easy for you to refer it again whenever it is needed. Not only with the interview perspective, it is always advisable to learn the concept in deep before you start implementing it, so that it will be in your primary memory. You will never forget the concept. You no need to refer the video again and again. So please follow along with me using some paper and pen, right? So conditional breakpoints are simple breakpoints with a condition, right? So I could say that how they will be triggering, will trigger when the condition is met, right? Will highlights, I can say that will pause the executor or the debugger when the condition is met and highlights the activity. Okay, clear, right? So now you are clear about the conditional breakpoints. Now let us see how the conditional breakpoints are set using our simple demo. Okay, now I'm using an already existing project, so you can use your own projects and just no need to concentrate on this project. Our agenda is, the purpose of this video is to concentrate on conditional breakpoints. So let us open any project, whatever you are working with. You can just follow using this demo. Okay, so I have a project which is with me where I am opening rpachallenge.com and I have a Excel file where it has some multiple data in it. Now my agenda is I am going to read this data using read range activity, and opening this RPA challenge I am going to fill this form with the data which I have read from the Excel file. Clear? So there are multiple fields in the this rpachallenge.com. This is a form, and those fields I'm giving the values in those fields from with the I'm filling the values with the values which I read. Where is it? Yeah, which I read from the Excel file. Sure. So now our agenda is to have a conditional breakpoint. Before that, what I'll do is I'm going to debug ribbon. See at left corner, top corner, you could see 3 tabs: home, design and debug. In debug, you could see the breakpoints, right? So I have given some breakpoints at address, type into address, and then at type into first name, right? So now how to give the breakpoints? Just simply select this activity where you want to give a breakpoint. Just click on this breakpoint. Okay, see now there is no breakpoint, right? I'm just selecting this private type into address activity and I'm just clicking this breakpoint. That's it. Now we got 2 breakpoints. Now let me debug this file. Okay, let me start debugging this file. Let me close this Excel, right? Yes, I'm going to start this debug. Now as soon as I start this in debug mode, as soon as I execute this in debug mode, it has started the execution, but it has paused the execution at a particular activity where it met the breakpoint, right? Since that we have added a breakpoint to address, type into address activity, it has paused the execution after opening a browser, right? After opening a browser, it has paused the execution. Now, what is our, where is it? Yeah. Now, you could see the breakpoints tab here, right? Breakpoints panel where the listed breakpoints, since that we have created 2 breakpoints, right? So those details being listed here. And you could see few columns: activity name, file path, in which file the breakpoint been selected, and condition and log message. Forget about this log message for meantime. For some time I'll be concentrating on the condition part now. So if there is a condition to this particular breakpoint, then it is called as conditional breakpoint. Now that it is a simple breakpoint, right? Now if there is a condition here, then it will be called as conditional breakpoint. Now since that there is no condition to it, it has been used here. The executor been paused here without checking any condition. Now how to add the condition to it? How to add the condition to it? Before that, I will tell my condition. Whenever there is a, one second. Yes, So whenever the first name is Albert, see the first name is Albert in the third row, right? Whenever the first name equals to Albert, then only my breakpoint should work. That is my condition, right? Let us see how to implement this. So what happens now if I don't add a condition at first name, now that it is in address, right? Now I have one more here. So let me step into right. It is meeting this next one, right? If I have no condition, it is pausing at this particular first name, right? So if I have a condition, then it will check for the condition. If the condition is true, then only it will pause at this particular breakpoint. Otherwise, it will continue to the next activity. That is the requirement. That is the use of this conditional breakpoint. If there is no condition, then it will be pausing at this particular breakpoint. Simple, right? All the simple breakpoints without condition will be used to pause the executor or to pause the debugger at the breakpoint, at the activity. Okay, highlighting the activity. Instead, if there is a condition, it will highlight, it will pause the debugger at the activity only if the condition is true. Clear? Now, shall we use address or first name? Okay, let us do one thing. We'll use first name. First name. See here, first name is there, right? This one, this row. So there are two methods to add this condition to this breakpoint. Here you could see the settings, this gear icon, right? Yeah. You can use this. Just click this, or else on this part, you can just right click and go to settings. Clear? There are two ways to create the conditional breakpoints. Two ways to create conditional breakpoint. One is use gear at the breakpoint row in breakpoints panel, or use right click, use settings in right click options on breakpoints panel to the individual, what to say, breakpoint list. Okay, breakpoint. Clear? Now let us go back and continue this. So this is how the breakpoint settings looks like. We have some multiple options here, fields here. First one is condition, hit count and log message. Condition is where the executor will stop when it is true. So now that what we are going to do, we want this, what is this? First name, current row of first name dot toString equals to Albert. Then only we want this to be paused at this particular activity. Otherwise, it is supposed to continue, right? Now let me use this. Current row of first name dot toString equals Albert, right? So if this condition satisfies, then only this breakpoint should be paused. The executor should pause at this particular breakpoint, right? So forget about these two. We'll cover these two later. Now that I'm just saving this, okay. So if you see here, this signal being changed, it is into breakpoint, conditional breakpoint. You could see the difference here. Normal simple breakpoint has the red one, whereas some symbol came in between this. So this is the difference. So if you, as soon as you notice this in your any new projects, then you could understand that it has some condition without which it will not considered while debugging, right? Now let us use this. Let us see how it is going to work. Okay, let me stop this. I'll be starting this again. Let me close this Excel, right? And let me close this RPA challenge one as well. Now let me start the debugging. So I'm going to start this debug. Okay, now let us see. It is in debug mode now. The expectation is it is okay. It has started this one and then it came to pause state, right? So it has came here. Now when I continue this, let us see whether it is stopping it, whether it is pausing it in the first name type into activity or not. Okay, here you just watch this, continue. See, it is getting executed, right? It is getting executed until and unless the first name is equals to Albert. It is not getting paused at type into activity, right? Let us see. So let us go back to our RPA challenge and you could see this is getting worked. Now I think it been paused because it has reached the this one, right? Let me continue. See, it has reached the address again. So that means one particular row been completed and it came back, and here for the second row again at address it is stopped. It has not paused at the type into because the first name is not equals to Alberta in first row. Now let us see. Let us see what it is in second. It is in Jane, right? So let me go back to the this one. See, the Jane data been saved. Now again it got stopped at the address. It is not at all touching first name activity, right? This type into activity where we have a conditional because the condition being false. Condition is false, right? Since the condition, what is the condition? First name equals to Alberta. First name is not equals to Alberta, right? So that is the reason it has not stopped. Now the third one. Now the third row. Let us see. Let us continue this. Yes. Let us go back to our PA challenge. Right? It has okay. It has executed. Yes, super. Now it has triggered. It has highlighted this first name activity. Why? The condition met because the third one, the third row, this one is Alberta, right? So whenever it meets the condition, then only it is getting triggered. So this type of conditional breakpoint will trigger only if the condition is met, only if the condition is true. This is how the conditional breakpoints works. So when there is a scenario where you want to debug at a particular point based on the data, based on the condition, then you can use this conditional breakpoint to save your time. Exactly at the point where you want to debug, you can go to that particular condition and you can verify, right? So now just stop this and I'll let you know one more concept here in the settings part. Let us have this. Okay, wait. Let us just break this, and now let me go to the settings part. Yes, here you could see one more option, hit count, stops the nth time it passes the condition. So one more condition we can add here. We can use the hit count also. If I say like second 2, then what happens in the second iteration? So it is reading row by row, right? So if the second iteration contains Alberta, then only it will trigger the breakpoint. So got it, right? So I don't know when at which row this Alberta is, but my condition according to the business is if the second row has Alberta, then only I'm going to analyze it. So in such scenarios we can use this hit count. And log message, if you add this log, some log, something say the data is, and it will print, it will print this, it will trace the log, so that it will be useful after debugging, right? We'll come to, okay, we'll use this log message later when we talk about the trace and all. So now let us just ignore this. On a high level you can just add this. Okay, so I just want to see this, what is the current row, if at all it is triggered. I'm sure it will not trigger because the second row is not equals to Alberta, right? We could see the data here, the second row is Alberta, so my assumption is, the expectation is, it will not trigger. Okay, so you got the difference, right? Suppose I'm not giving any count here, hit count, it will check for this condition every time, and if at all it is true, then only it will trigger that particular breakpoint. Otherwise, if I give the hit count, at that hit count only it will check for the condition. If that at that hit count, if the condition is met, then only the activity been highlighted because of the breakpoint. So that is the agenda. Now for testing purpose, let us test this again. Okay, so let us stop this and let us give a run, debug again. So let me debug the file again so you could understand the difference, right? You could see this being changed because I kept the log message in the settings, right? So this is called trace point. Okay, so we'll talk about this later in our coming videos. Okay, for now just concentrate on the conditional breakpoint. Okay, so it's been stopped at, okay, now let us give a continue, and it is not stopping, it is not pausing at the first name, type into first name, because the condition is not met, and also the hit count is not equals to 2, right? So let us see what happens if the hit count equals to 2. Let us just go to RPA challenge. Yes, it is, yeah, it's been done. And then this is the second one, so it is second row, it is using the second row to fill the RPA challenge form. Let us go back and see. Yes, Jane, it is checking. Even though the hit count is 2, since that the first name is not equals to Alberta, it is not been paused at first name type into activity. Now the third row. Earlier when we debugged, it has been stopped. It has been paused at type into first name because it is first name is equals to Alberta. But now we have added one more condition saying the hit count should be 2. Since that the hit count is third, now it is third iteration, right? The hit count is 3 now, and then it is checking for the condition, right, which is false. So this been executed without pausing at this. I hope you got the clear. Yeah, you see fourth one, it came to fourth without stopping it here, because even though the third row, first row, second row and third row, even though the third row has first name equals to Alberta, it is not paused at this particular activity. Why? Because we added a condition saying hit count should be 2. Since that the hit count is 3, which is not equals to 2, so it's been not considered to pause at this particular activity. I hope you got a clear understanding on this conditional breakpoints about the condition field and the hit count field. So very good information you have learned in this video. So if you like this video, please subscribe our channel and share with your friends and colleagues too. Meet you through our next videos. Thank you so much for your support so far. Till then, please keep watching our videos and happy learning and happy automating. Bye bye.